Let's go.
Dr. Rosie Milligan, one of the most sought-after speakers on the circuit today. Her live internet talk show, Express Yourself, is the most provocative, thought-provoking, and talked-about radio show on the internet. There's no holds barred, and Dr. Milligan puts the B in bold. She brings it every Tuesday live at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dr. Rosie has been proclaimed the most provocative female writer of the century. Her books include Satisfying the Black Man and Black Woman Sexually Made Simple, Why Black Men Choose White Women, and the book Nigga Please. These books have raised eyebrows across the country. She has authored 21 books and published 350 titles for authors nationwide. Check Dr. Rosie out at drrosie.com for her books, articles, and archives of her internet talk show. Sit at the feet of wisdom. Dr. Milligan is indeed a timekeeper and scorekeeper. She is the clock, calendar, and almanac for Black America. You need to hear her.
Good morning. Top of the morning. You're listening to the Express Yourself Hour. Yes, this is the Express Yourself Hour. I am your host, Dr. Rosie Milligan, coming to you live as always with nothing but straight talk. Yeah, that's how we do it around here. Nothing but straight talk. And joining me are my two wonderful co-hosts. You guys know one, the invisible man, Mr. Keith Swanson. Been hiding out for years. People want to know if he really exists. They've been coming to my office and let me see if he's down there. I said, Keith doesn't work here. They said, I don't believe he exists.
Hey, with my non-fungible token will go on sale later this year.
Okay.
NFT.
Wait.
All right. I think I'm going to put in a bid and put in a ransom.
Put in a bid.
First person who recognized Keith Swanson get $1,000 when you see.
No. Much more. I bid more.
Okay.
I'm bidding more. She's mine.
How high should we take it, Shawana? 5,000?
No. 100,000.
Oh my God. Ooh. They're going to be looking in the markets and the nightclubs. Might find him at church now. Now that's okay. So don't
Did I hear somebody say 200,000, 300,000, 300,000?
That's my girl.
Oh, can I get a bid? You know, this is a good month to talk about can I get a bid? February, Black History.
The end of February at that.
Can I get a bid? Okay, you guys. My other co-host is the Valley Girl. Yes, she's from the Valley. Shawana Bordenay. She's a writer. She's one who can really help you get started and stay on the right path. Stop making all these resolutions and don't do anything about it. She show you how to create and change your life. And she's also a real estate guru. If you want to buy, sell, anything you want to do to a house except clean it. Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to do that too.
You can call
I'm going to get a
Shawana.
crew to do it.
I figured you would do that. She does everything with real estate. So starting right out, just go ahead and let them know how they can get in contact with you. They may want to buy, sell, refinance, reverse mortgage, whatever they want to do has to do with real estate. Call Shawana.
Yes.
Shawana can she can make a mint. Shawana knows how to, as a brilliant marketer, she can make a mint teaching people how to market, how to market anything. So Shawana can sell anything,
Wow.
Yes,
Okay,
I can. And I can show you how to do it too. Whether you want life transformation, you want to deal with real estate, you want to deal with saying no to New Year's resolutions and yes to goal setting, you need to contact me. Get a pen and paper right now so you can write this number down and you can call me. My number is 818-201-6565. That's 818-201-6565. If you're just looking for life transformation, I can help you. If you're looking to sell a piece of property, I can help you. If you're looking to buy a piece of property, yes, I can help you. 818-201-6565.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Shawana. And after you buy that house with Shawana, you want to make sure you put it in a living trust so it will not go to probate. Then you want to call Dr. Rosa, the name you can trust. 323-750-3592. That's 323-750-3592. And if you're looking for a man that everybody's been looking for and don't know him when they recognize him, we just give you Keith Swanson name. We cannot give his phone number out.
No, don't
but
do
if
that.
you happen to be in the store and you hear somebody say, "Hi, Mr. Keith Swanson," then you know that's him. Run, catch him, hold him, take pictures, hold him, so you can get that reward. We got money out for whoever locate the invisible man, my co-host, Mr. Keith Swanson.
Amen. Wow. Oh, yeah.
Well, today, you guys, we have a great show today. Shawana, I'm not going to put you on the spot. I'm not going to ask you. Are you shacking?
No, I don't shack.
You answered it mighty slow.
No, I don't shack. I do not shack. No shacking here.
I
said it with confidence, girl.
I asked a man yesterday in my office. I said, "Are you married?" He go, I said, "Wait a minute, wait. It's either yes or no. What's this about?" Oh, I tell you. Well, for all of you shackers out there.
Did you have to say it like that, Dr.
Yes, I need.
But you know what? It's okay if you shacking. Don't listen to it. No, go ahead.
Well, you know what? Like that's interesting because there's maybe an advantage, an upside, and a downside. So what I think people need to understand what ride you're in for, what roller coaster you're in for. Yeah. If you're shacking, if people call it common law, they say common law. Most states do not honor common law marriages. No. So you say, what is a common law marriage? It's a marriage that has not been finalized with the formal ceremony and marriage license.
Yes.
And most states do not recognize
unsanctioned marriage. Yeah.
That's what you call an unsanctioned marriage.
Yeah. Yes. That's
an unsanctioned
marriage. Okay. So
Did I shack? Yes. No.
You did shack up on one time?
I shack. I've never been married. So, I shack.
Are you kidding?
I shack.
How long did
I've never been married my whole life. Shack? My whole entire life, never married.
How long did you shack?
I shacked for 26 years.
What?
Yes, sir. I know, right? That's what I said. What?
Put the belt down, Dr. Rosie. Put the belt down. I know. I can hear it in the background.
You can hear it in the background.
I hear it in the background. Put it down. Put the belt down.
You're getting a whipping. 26 years.
Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting. And it's good that you can be honest about that. There are people married. I have a couple that have been married not married, shacking for 42 years. That's why we're having this conversation. Mm-hmm. And he helped to add a room onto the house. He helped beautify the house. Mm-hmm. But she had that house, before they start shacking.
Yeah, okay.
42 years of shacking, adding to the house. Thought he was getting along really good. Thought the kids loved him. He saw them as his children.
Mm-hmm.
When she died, you guys listen up good. When she made her transition, he gets nothing.
Mm-hmm.
He walked in one day and the two daughters were talking, one on the phone. He overheard her say, "This, you know what, he gonna get up out of here because I never did like him anyway." Mm-hmm. He was so crushed because he thought that he had a good relation with those children. Folks, this is a timely topic because you would be surprised how many people out there is shacking up.
Mm-hmm.
If 50% of the marriages in this country ends up in a divorce, wow. Then you bring in another aspect, that's stepchildren. We're going to talk about that later on because a lot of people are inheriting stepchildren. We're going to talk about what are their inheritance rights if something happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to blow your mind to realize that stepchildren has no rights of inheritance.
No, they don't.
None.
None.
None. Yeah.
Out in the cold.
Hey, and even if they have a trust, you're not named in it. I'm just kidding.
Folks, this is a serious conversation.
Oh, yes.
You know, people say, well, you know, all you don't know don't hurt you. All you don't know can leave you out in the cold if your partner dies. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you. So, have you seen your partner's trust or will? I'm getting ready to mail now. This is going to break a lot of people up right here. I started not to say it, but I just feel convicted and convinced that I should. You need to ask to look at that deed. Ask your partner if he or she has a trust or will. Ask them if they have a life insurance policy. Who are the beneficiaries? Why aren't people asking these questions, Keith? You staying with a person, sleeping with them, snoring in their face, cooking, sharing everything together, and you don't know that part of their business? Come on, folks. Come on. He might have a trust or will, but are you in it?
Yeah.
If you're not, you have nothing coming by law. If you're just shacking.
Yeah.
So let's back off, Keith. Why do people shack?
They shack because they don't want to be the ultimate responsibility of actually signing their contract with the state, because there's things that come with signing a contract with the state, and it does, and that's the so they're willing to take a risk of not tying themselves to it. So there's an upside and there's a downside. You do have the freedom to go or freedom to leave without being tied to the state, but the thing is, you also don't get the guarantees that the state actually affords you. So, so basically, you're renting yourself out when you're shacking.
I like that word. You're renting.
Yeah, you're renting yourself out on both sides.
You're leasing.
You're month to month. No, this is a month to month rent.
Man,
Ain't no lease.
I don't like to hear this. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, you have to look at it.
I leased myself out for 26 years.
Yes, you did.
But you know what? I have to say I protected myself.
You protected yourself.
Anything and everything we did, even though we were not married, was bought in a corporation, which was 50-50 ownership.
Yeah.
So I didn't lose anything. And I did make sure I protected all mine. So.
Well, you had a contract that superseded,
the marriage contract.
Yeah. Well, the marriage is a marriage contract, sanctioned by the state.
That's all it is. It's a contract.
It's a contract. So all you did was write another contract, which is fine.
So when you're shacking, you don't have to worry about spousal support. Let's look at why. Let's look at some of the reasons. I want somebody to call in here who's shacking. You don't have to give us your name. Now you know there's a lot of people out there shacking. Been standing up for years.
I like the word.
Like they married.
I like the word. A lot of shackers out there, huh?
Yeah, all you shackers. Everybody you know that's shacking.
I got to use that one.
You need to get them on this line so they can understand what they need to do to be safe in the very end. Sure, you don't have to, you won't get alimony because you're shacking. You look at all the different things. I can leave when things get tough. I don't have to say I've been divorced. I guess there's a lot of reasons people shack. But 25 years now, I know some people say, well, I want to see how it's going to work out. It took you 25 years to decide whether it was going to work out or not, or you were just so comfortable.
26.
I am not a jacker.
She probably can tell me the day and the time, the hour.
But what I was proud of is I didn't have to go through that divorce thing.
Okay.
Because you never know which way that would have went.
Well, wait, it would have been the same thing as if you had a prenup and you were married. So basically, it's a different contract, that's all.
Yeah. No, I mean, they could have said, oh, well, you make money, so you got to pay me. So it could have been the other way around.
Yeah,
too.
oh, yeah.
So, Shawana, whose idea was it to end the relationship, yours or his?
It was definitely mine.
Yeah.
It was definitely mine.
Okay. Usually, folks, whoever make that decision is the one who has more to lose. Because the person that doesn't have anything to lose, shoot, he'll stay there 50 years or she'll stay there 100 years. They ain't going to ever lose when everything is going in their favor. Let's see, Keith, we have something on the board to ask to call on 213. Caller 213, do you have a comment?
Comment, yeah, because if not, mute your line.
Yes.
Yeah, mute your line.
Wait,
okay, go ahead. We're ready for you.
I'm not a shacker any longer. Okay. after 29 years of marriage. But I'm just going to put that out there. After 3 years of living in that environment, my partner had a 3-year-old minor child.
Okay.
Now you've got baby drama mama. My partner had a public utility job, and one day I just woke up and said, we own this house together. Mm-hmm. It's joint. We got all of this going on, but that is your heir. Your minor 3-year-old child, mm-hmm. whose baby mama is not my fan.
Mm-hmm.
And so all I envisioned was him going down into that hole, exploding, and that woman taking great pride in making me homeless the following day.
Mm.
Okay? And it just came to me that no matter what we had together, there was a minor child that the law was going to protect, and that heir was his ex-baby mama, who was not my fan, and I wasn't going to win no kind of way, hands down.
Wow. Okay.
So I decided that day that we were either going to get in it or we were going to get out of it. So I ordered some wedding invitations, and I put a date on them, and I said, and when that date get here, we either going to be in or we going to be out on you, buddy. 29 years later, we are married. It's all in. Everybody's good. But it took all of that, a commitment to me being real with what concerned me, the example that I was providing for my child, to make that happen. So it was an epiphany. It was good. I'm happy it happened that way. And I suggest somebody take a look at what you have to lose. When you think you're winning, you're not always winning. Back to you.
And how long you said you had been in a shack relationship?
3 years.
Yeah.
We bought a house together. We had shared utilities. We shared money. And when the epiphany came was when the child support people took all the money out of our joint bank account. And I didn't even know that woman from Adam's house cat.
Okay. Yeah. You had all the responsibilities, liabilities without any of the benefits. Yeah. I don't blame you.
Absolutely. And the baby mama took me and him jointly into court because I had that 6-figure job, and she thought she was going to get an increase, but the judge had to straighten out that I didn't sleep with her, and I wasn't lying with her.
Now, wait a minute. Did the judge say that to the woman? Now, come on.
Yes, he did. I know he did.
He absolutely told her that. He said, if you're coming in here, I'm going to ask this lady, what is your responsibility to that household? I said, absolutely none. He said, what bills do you pay? I said, absolutely none. So he said, well, you cannot factor her income into his liability. Beat it.
Told like Michael Jackson, beat it. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I always say that because, as she designed a schema for women, right, about a male commitment. And I always say no more than 3 years dating a man without marriage. I said 90% of the men I talk to know that a woman is wife material within like 6 weeks. And sometimes it takes them a little bit, a year or so longer to actually, confirm what his thoughts were. But after 3 years, he puts you in a certain category. So the thing is, if you haven't got a ring within 3 years, either you
won't get it, right?
Either you don't either you have to actually ask that question, straight up, do I qualify for your wife? And if he doesn't, and that's what you want, you need to go find another guy because you just don't qualify for his wife. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person, that you're not somebody else's wife. You're just not his wife. So you did the right thing, in my opinion.
Wow.
3 years max. That's it. Yeah, 3 years max. You actually did the right thing. So that's what I always suggest. And it worked out because and some women they wait around 10, 15 years, right, and then decide to get married, and then after 2 years they divorce because guess what? They realize why she didn't qualify to be his wife.
In the first place.
In the first place, right.
Wow.
Yeah,
well, look.
I tell guys the same thing,
Mm-hmm. And don't be wasting time. I mean, any woman that's over 40, I'm going to put it like that, 40.
Over 20.
And
over
definitely,
20.
But definitely if you're 50 and you're dating a man who say, well, I don't want to get married, end it right then.
Yeah, if you want to get married.
You're too old to be courting, okay? Doggone it. When you get 50, you need to be looking for somebody that you can settle down with. So if he doesn't want to get married, don't get your emotions tied into this dude because all he wants to do is shack with one and shack with the next one. He's telling you, I bet you he would shack with you, but he's telling you, I don't want to get married. So it's nothing wrong with that. He's being honest with you. So don't keep thinking, well, if I cook him this kind of meal, or if I pour it on him right, you know, women got this habit, they post something on people right. I don't know what make you think you got between your legs that somebody else don't have between theirs. I mean, this may sound dirty, but I'm just putting it out there. I'm sick of women.
It's standard
that they got a mojo working between their legs. You don't have nothing nobody else have. Go somewhere, sit down.
It's standard on all models. It's like a gas pedal in a car. It's standard. So.
Well, some people think they got something, so I do this right, and he gonna want to marry me. No, that's not the requirement. Because when you get married, things can get so tough that you may not even want to have sex. So please take sex out of the equation. I'm gonna repeat that again. You guys need to read my book, Satisfying the Black Man, Sexually Made Simple, Satisfying the Black Woman, Sexually Made Simple, because these books does not deal with sexual methodology. It deals with relationships and the other component of being a whole person. So when you can take sex out of the equation, you can consummate a better marriage. Because some people, they get, after 2 weeks, they're in the bed with you, and every time they see you, they're in the bed again. They don't get a chance to get to know who you are, because every time you're meeting up, you're going for sex like you're going for a high from cocaine or whatever else you smoke or drink, you know. And then that's all you're focusing on. You didn't take the time to go meet her crazy mama, her crazy kids. You didn't get a chance to do any of that, okay? And now you're ready to get married because you're enjoying the high thrill, the sex thrill.
Yeah. I counsel men, especially young men, and they think I'm nuts, right? I said, you don't even go on a date with a woman without talking to her on the phone for at least a week or two. I say at least a week, and I said I suggest at least 2 weeks to a month of just having phone conversations before you even go on the first date with her.
Yes,
guys think I'm nuts. I said, okay. I said, you know, if it's just a hookup, one night stand, that's different. Okay, if you want to do that, that's fine. But if you actually want to date a woman, I said, if you're going to date her, don't go on a date with somebody that you don't know. And I used to tell women all the time, right? They say, Keith, I want to go on a date. I want to date. I said, you know what? I say, dating is girlfriend privileges. I date my girlfriend. I just don't date randomly. I said, we can get to know each other. Here's my phone number. We can talk. We can even meet up for coffee. But it said dating is for my girlfriend. That is her right and her privilege. If you're not my girlfriend, I don't date you.
Absolutely. Let me give this number out, and we're going to take a call from 818. You can call us at 310-928-7733, 310-928-7733. And today we're talking about estate planning when shacking up.
Yeah.
All of you shackers out there.
Let's get into that, Dr. Rosie.
All you shackers out there.
Because Shawana actually did it right. Okay.
She did it right. She protected herself. Let's take this call, and then we're going to come back and talk about how you need to do that estate plan when you are shacking up. Go ahead, caller, 818.
818, do you want to weigh in?
Okay. Maybe the caller is just listening.
The topic is hot. They might not, you know.
The topic is hot. I really enjoy it. And if you're at work and you don't want anybody to hear what you're saying, you know, just go on your computer and type in Inner Light Radio at yahoo.com. Type in, and we will answer your question, because we know this is a sensitive topic.
And if you're a shacker and you're next to your significant other, go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And close the door.
Call in and say, I'm calling about my friend Betty. Y'all know how we do when we putting it on other folks. Woo, I tell you, it's really something. But Barbara kicked it off, didn't she? She kicked it off with honesty, and she showed you what happened. Look at the downside of that. You're right. People can come in and take all the money out of your account. This dude have an IRS lien he never told you about, and you all got the same account. Folks, y'all better listen at all the liabilities that can come with that. And you trying to explain, well, that was my money too. Well, it was a joint account, so IRS got the whole account.
If you're shacking, then you should not have a joint account.
Whoa.
Joint accounts for husband and wife. If you are not married, you should not have a joint account.
All right, because Keith, you back into estate if you have a joint account, and if you die, the other person on that account get all the money.
Exactly.
What about your kids out there that you might want to leave something for? Folks, it is critical to understand the things you need to be doing if you're shacking.
Yeah, I tell that's the 3 levels. Girlfriend doesn't mean financial responsibility, right? When your wife is who you're actually financially responsible for. Same thing for a woman. Okay, your boyfriend, you're not financially responsible for your boyfriend. Your husband, you are. Okay, and that's the difference. That's the main difference between a boyfriend or girlfriend and a husband or a wife. Financial responsibility. So if that's just your boyfriend, you should not be financially tied to that person. You shouldn't be.
Well, is that what people are trying to avoid? Is the financial responsibility the reason some of them do want to shack and not get married? Yeah,
exactly. But the thing is that if they shack so long, and I think that's what the young lady actually got into. They actually pretend like it's a marriage, and it's not, okay?
And they really do, because they tell people, that's my husband, and you find out. Here's when you find out. Let me tell you guys when you find out, okay? It's a good one. When you find out when that person make their transition, the mortician wants to know who can sign for their body. That's when you find out he ain't got no wife, because he was not married. So you can't sign off nothing. They're going to be looking for the next of kin, and you not kin.
You're not that, yeah.
So his mother or his children, some of them will have to step up and sign at that mortuary. You can't sign nothing. Now, you've been there 30 years. He's in the hospital. He's in critical care. You go up there because you want to make medical decisions. You don't have a power of attorney for health care. And the children didn't like you in the first place. So they're going to go up to the hospital and say, I don't want her to come up here. No, he's not married. He does not have a wife. I'm his mother. I'm his child. You can prove easy that you're the mother. You can prove that you're the child with the birth certificate and everything. But the wife, you can't prove anything. But you've been shacking all these years. You can't prove anything. So medical, they are more apt to take information from their daughter or from his mother than from you. So you're on the outside looking in when you've been staying with this man for 30 years. Folks, do not put yourself in that position. Just ask some questions. Do you have a will? Do you have a trust? Yes. Let me see it. The answer yes is not enough. Let me see it. If you open up and look at and see everybody's a beneficiary but you, do you have life insurance? What do you have on your job? Who is the beneficiary? Now, if they real low down and route you, they can show you something, go back and change it next week. But at least I feel better knowing that I tried to look out for myself. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Well, it ain't no joke. For all you folks out here shacking, and those who know folks shacking, you need to call them and tell them, get on the line. Get on the line and get this information so you're not left out in the cold. Can you imagine, Shawana, if your, that's what we're going to call the man. We're going to call the woman is Shaka E and the man is Shaka Wa.
No, the co-shackers.
Oh, co-shackers, okay. Now, can you imagine what would have happened? Wow. If he had gotten sick, you wouldn't have had no say-so. Wow. So, folks, we're talking about estate planning when shacking up, and we're going to get into when you have stepchildren. Wow, that's a whole
818, you're going to have to, you have noise in your line, so you have to mute unless you're talking.
818 if you want to make conversation.
Anybody on the line, unless you're not, if you're not engaging in conversation, please mute.
Yeah.
Because our engineer is very good, and he's actually very noise sensitive. So if there's noise in the background, he's going to complain. So if you're not actually talking, please mute and unmute when you want to weigh in. Go ahead, Dr. Rose.
Okay. Yeah, you really have to look at everything, see who's on the life policy. I remember when I was young. Yeah, I was young. Now, don't get it twisted. I have not always been a mature. I was young. I was working for an insurance company, and I was looking at this policy, this pharmacy. he had somebody on the policy as beneficiary that wasn't his wife. So I go to my supervisor. I said, do you see this? She told me right away, look, you leave all that stuff alone. I said, but he's married. You leave that alone. Even if you're married, you can make whomever you want to your beneficiary. And from that day on, I was thinking, now, isn't this something? If he died, some other woman is getting his life insurance, and he has a wife. Y'all, I'm just saying that happens, and you'd be surprised what's going on with your spouse, your chaperone, whatever we want to call it. You'd be surprised what's on their mind. Folks, I have seen people who had property, and let me back up on that. Keith, I hate to tell you, sometimes maybe people are better off who don't have anything, rent an apartment. Because the minute they get a house, something changed in them. It's not about love anymore. It's about, I got to look out for my kids. Yeah. So I'll marry you, but I'm not going to marry you because if I die, I want my kids to have this house. I've heard it. Oh, yeah. It's been said to me too many times, I'm not getting married. I'm going to shack up because if something happened to me, I don't want him to have this house. But you want to something. I've been trying to figure that picture out. Okay. So you're saying, well, something happened to me. I want my kids to have a house. I said, what's supposed to happen to this man that's been living with you and helping paying for the house for the last 20 years? Well, he'll figure it out.
He got to look out for himself.
He'll figure it out. That's what they tell me. He will figure it out. That's okay. What if he figured out 20 years from now and he's in his 60s or 70s? Especially in California, look how high the rent is. Will his Social Security afford him a place to live? He'll figure it out. I want my kids to have a house.
You got to look out for yourself.
So all of you folks out there shacking, and your name is not on that property, and there's not no estate planning, there's no will, there's no living trust in place, you might be in for a long ride. Even when a person has a trust, person have a trust, irrevocable trust, they can get mad at you. They can come back and change it, take you out. All I'm saying, folks, is beware. You need to be nosy. You need to protect yourself. You need to find out what's going on. And if you're not sure about him, you need to see if he'll do an irrevocable trust or make some part of it irrevocable that he will not change the beneficiary because they'll do it in a heartbeat. People who are in love today can hate you tomorrow and don't want you to have anything because a lot of people need a divorce or break up. They don't even wish you well anymore. Sad picture, but it's true.
Yeah, it is what it is. The thing is at the end of the day, it's business, and you got to remember that. You know, just because you want to live with your side chick doesn't mean that it's a marriage. You're gonna if you want the same kind of rights, you got to go ahead and take on the risk. You know, you can't be one-sided.
It doesn't work out, just go on down there before the judge and say, Judge, we have irreconcilable difference. That's all.
Yeah.
He not going to make you stay. It used to be you had to prove, I caught her cheating, Your Honor. She did this and she did that. You don't have to do none of that now. Go on down there and get a divorce if it's not working for you. But don't get in these shack situations that you're going to be sorry in the long run. Go on and get married. You don't have to stay. If they change, some people, they say, once we got married, he changed. Okay, that's when you change. Go right on downtown on First and Hill. Is it First and Hill, Keith?
Yeah.
The courthouse, go right on down there and tell the judge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I tell the guy, why are you shacking after 3 years? Okay. If you've seen all you're going to see, if she's not your wife, she's not your wife. Right. So basically, how does it benefit you for shacking with that woman? Don't go in with, trying to pretend that it's a marriage. It's not.
And
don't give her marriage benefits if you're not married.
Right. And some people, you just find out later that that's not the right person. You rushed into marriage because your rent was due and you lost your job. This person was helping you. People get into marriage for many different strange reasons. I always ask people sometimes when they tell me about how much money this person is making, they doing a whole bunch of bragging. I said, okay, is this love or lust?
Okay.
You know, well, what is it? Is it love or lust?
It could be love. It could be lust. It could be financial gain. It could be a whole bunch of things. The thing is, how do you take care of your business? You know, how do you write it up? The thing is that Shawana just superseded the contract. She actually did it the right way. She's actually an example. If you're going to do it, you know, protect yourself. You know, go into it with your eyes closed. And she didn't. You know, she was smart.
Get something in writing.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Shawana, you want to say something?
Oh, no, I said that's correct. You have to go in it smart.
Yeah.
Right. You have to think about the end. Don't just think about the beginning. Think about later. Think about years ahead when you're older. Think about when it's time for you to draw your Social Security or if you lose your job. Go in it thinking about that. You know, it's really important that we need to plan and think about all of those things. And for those if you definitely need a healthcare directive for making medical decisions. If you're staying with someone, you've been there 10 years, 20 years, he gets sick in the hospital, you want his kids to make the decision or even his ex-wife, anybody but you. So you need to have him or her get a power of attorney and make you the number one agent for making medical decisions for him.
Yeah, if you're with that person for more than 6 months and you're living with that person, that person should have some kind of medical power of attorney because that's the person that's going to be driving you to the hospital.
Right.
Yeah.
And handling things.
Okay? And handling things, yeah.
Again, our number is 310-928-7733. 310-928-7733. You can give us a call. And if you, you Shaq, and maybe you know something I don't know. Maybe you have some greater benefits than what we're talking about. Call in and share it. You don't have to give us your name, but just let us know what you're thinking. So again, we're talking about estate planning when shacking up, and we're going to talk about when you have stepchildren. In fact, I think I'm getting into that right now. I mentioned that 50% of American marriage end up in divorce, and many marriage, I would say most marriages, they have children to that marriage. So now these people are going to get married again, and they have children. So now we're stepping into a whole new league dealing with stepchildren.
All right, yeah.
Now that's critical.
Yeah, that's when you have to. A lot of people, especially black people, don't take marriage seriously. They take it as just a social thing instead of it being a business. Okay, all that stuff, like you say, Dr. Rosie, can be taken care of. You know, through a contract, because a marriage is a contract.
It's a partnership, and you need to really look at it for what it's really worth. It might as well just face it. Now, when you get married to someone, they have children. We can say these are stepchildren. Guess what, folks? Their inheritance rights, they have none. There's no inheritance rights for stepchildren.
No, there isn't.
It is for adopted children, because that's just like your real
because they have a contract with the state, yeah.
They have a contract with the state. But when you are a stepchild, I cannot express how important it is if you have a blended family for you to get your house in order. It is going to be some real problems if you don't do that, because you have these stepchildren. They thinking, well, my daddy had this house. They thinking they got some rights. But if you die and your daddy has not done a trust or will or put things together, you have no rights. You are out in the cold. And I bet if you ask the average person who's a stepchild, do they think they have rights? If your father died, do you think you have something coming? They will swear by law. Yeah, my daddy's stuff. I know by law. It's my father's house. I know I have something coming. Well, I'm here to tell you today, you don't have anything coming unless there is estate planning where your father put in his will or in his trust that he's leaving you something. If that doesn't happen, you are not going to get anything. And they need to further go, because a lot of blended families, they get together and the father or the mother, they need to talk about this. I think this is a conversation, Keith, that most husband and wife don't even have. They have children on both sides. Some people will come together and say, well, something happened to me. I want, and when something happened to you, it's the second spouse.
Yeah.
Then let's divide everything 50-50, 50-50 to my children, 50-50 to yours. You can talk about that all day. But if nothing is in writing, you would be surprised, because sometimes the stepchildren don't like the stepmother or the stepfather.
Yeah.
And you're the first one to know it. You know it. You know that child does not like your new wife. You know that from Jump Street. But you're not dealing with it. You're not looking at the fact, because you're acting as if you think this person is going to live forever, or you don't know who's going to go first. Folks, if you're in a blended family, you all need to come together and have these conversations.
It sounds like you got a new book coming, Dr. Rosie, Marriage LLC.
It is, Keith, I can tell you the challenge out here. You just gave me an idea, but people got to do something.
Yeah, limited liability corporation, because that's what it is.
Yeah. And you end up in court paying all this money for the judge to tell you, because you know what your neighbor's going to say, and you know what your mother's going to say. Yeah, that's your daddy's stuff, so you're supposed to get something. Let's go to court. And when you get to court, the judge is going to look at you and say, there's will, if there's a trust, did he leave you as a beneficiary? You have nothing in this inheritance. You just wasted some money, time, and anger. So you need to be talking to your father, your mother right now, if you're in a blended family. Daddy, if something happened to you first, are you leaving anything for us? There's nothing wrong with asking that question, because he probably never even thought about it, Keith, till you bring it up.
And you may not, and it's best for you to know beforehand, so you can actually make your own decisions, whether you're going to get something or not. So in other words, you got to know where your time and energy is going to be invested in.
You know, the sad part about that, Keith, you have children who really love their parents. And if they become ill, and they become the caretakers, they are taking you to the doctor, they are turning and bathing you, they're doing everything for you. And can you imagine how hurt they would be if you make your transition and they get nothing, and everything that you have worked hard for belongs to your wife, and when she died, it goes to her children, unless she liked you well enough and feel a little fairness and justifiable enough to say, well, their dad helped to build this house.
Have you ever heard of a wicked stepfather? No, it's always the wicked stepmother. Women
not
are actually
not fair.
But the thing is, it might not be fair. But
don't let him get away with that, okay?
I mean, have you ever heard of a wicked stepfather? There's a reason.
Usually he has no voice at all.
No. Basically, women are concerned about their offspring, okay, and not somebody else's offspring. They're not concerned about his offspring. They're concerned about their offspring. Their offspring comes first.
And I just want to weigh in on that right here for 1 second and say two things. It's a very, very difficult conversation to have with your partner while you're in love with each other. It's even more difficult on his deathbed, okay?
Yes, it is.
It's even more difficult. So the part that you're stressing about the conversation having between the stepmother and the father, or the father and the stepmother, however it goes, this blended family, that conversation has to be had between the two people.
Before you get married.
But for my side, I say leave that child. If you don't want them to have anything, leave them the dollar so that they won't have anything to dispute that was your intent.
Yeah. Well, that's if you're fair. How many people are fair?
Well, they are fair as long as their husband or wife is living. As soon as they put them in that grave, they have a whole different idea.
Yes, they do.
Okay? So that's why you have to say in your trust that neither one of you will be able to change the beneficiary up on the other one death. If you don't clarify that, I've seen it. When that person died, they have this trust laid out. This is what my child gonna get this. I want Junior to have this house. And now Junior doesn't have a copy of the trust, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I tell people, well, we always make a copy of the trust for our client to give to somebody else in the family. Because if nobody else knows what's going on in that trust, okay, then man friend or sister friend, as soon as the other spouse dies, what they're going to do is change their trust. You talking about you want him to have the Rolex watch? I don't like him like that. I'm keeping that, or I'm going to give it to my son. And your child never knew that you had intention of leaving them something. Folks, all I'm trying to do is wake you up to say you need a living trust. You need a will. If your assets is less than $166,250, then you don't have to have a living trust. But if you own property, real estate property, your assets is more than the figure that I just gave out, you need to do a living trust and specify who you want to have what you are leaving. And you can even specify in a trust that if this person's on drugs, he can have blah, blah, blah. But until he's sober, until he have gone through a program, you can specify condition as to when you want that person to give that person what you're leaving for them. You might want to leave them a car. But if they're drinking and running it to everybody, life is not straight, why create a problem? Once he's clean, once he's been in a program, you can do all that in a trust. If they had some challenge, you can do a special need trust and leave a guardian over what you're leaving for them. Now, that's real critical to get your house in order. More so, I tell you, anybody in a blended family, you really need to put stuff in perspective. Because you don't know how that other person feel about your children. They're not going to tell you, I can't stand him. If something happened to you, Bubba, I don't want to see him no more. They're not going to tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's why it's on paper, so you take emotions out of it. And you should actually do that before you get married, not, after.
You know what, Keith? Yeah. You got a point. My sister and I wrote a book on what you need to know before you get hitched. And that's one of the things you need to know if you have children. Do you get along with them? Are you paying child support? Why you want to know if they're paying child support? Because if they're not taking care of those children, they're not going to take care of yours. Okay, caller, go ahead. We have a caller on 310. Someone have their radio on or mic open. Please close it. Go ahead, caller. 310-343. Go ahead.
No, I'm just listening.
Okay. Well, mute. Just please put the phone on mute while you're listening.
Yeah, you want to. And Keith, you brought a good point. We don't. That book. It's called. Ladies, you get it if you're already married or thinking about getting married again, or if you have children who may be getting married. You can get that book. It's one of my books I co-authored with my sister, who is an attorney. It's called What You Need to Know Before You Get Hitched. And Keith brought out that point. It's really things that you do need to know before the bells ring. We tend to ask questions later after we get into the marriage. Then we start digging into the person's background and business. Folks, you need to do that before. That's why, Keith, you talked about not rushing into these situations, because if they have children, you need to kind of get to know them.
Yeah, you do.
Because if they got these bad actors, they got gangbangers and shoot-em-ups, and that's who their friends are, those are the people who are going to be coming to visit them at your house.
Yeah, I always tell men, now they don't know about women, I always tell men, do not become a stepfather unless you're doing it for the children. Have a relationship with the children and then become a stepfather, because that's actually going to define the marriage more than you with that woman.
Wow. Now, that's interesting, Keith. That's interesting.
If you bond with those children, outside of that woman, then the relationship would actually go a lot better because you have bonded with the children. So there's no friction because the children have accepted you and you've accepted them. So there is no friction. So there is no division between the children. The woman can't come between you and the children because the children have already bonded to you. So that eliminates one source of friction. I tell, do not get married to a woman with children without having bonded to the children first.
And if you know, because you hear her talk about what they're doing, she's going to tell you how bad they are. And then you still marry her. Keith, you got a real good point there because are you willing to put up with what the mother's willing to put up with? See, that's her child. It's not your child. And women tend to put up with more than men in the first place because men would kick their kid or son out of that house before he batted his eyes. Yeah. And a woman will hold on to him.
Sometimes, there's times when a woman is actually financing that relationship. Sometimes, right? 80% of the time, I'll say probably 90% of the time, it's the man that's financing the relationship. You're actually paying for those children. Know what you're paying for. If you're going to invest in those children, make sure that you have a relationship and there's a bond with those children. If you do, then even if the marriage breaks up and you break up, you have no regrets because you love those children, just like they were yours. Because if you do that, then everything else is fine. Okay, so whatever you went through, even if they never speak to you again, okay, you had a relationship with those children while you were with them.
Keith, that makes sense because a lot of men get in relationship with women who have sorry children, girls or boys. Somebody at home, they 38 or 40. And let me clarify this, because when I hear women talking about, I'm not dating a man who living at home with his mom, he ought to be home with his mom if he haven't bought a home, okay? If there's a room there where he can save money and he don't have enough to buy a home yet or doesn't qualify, that's where he ought to be, okay? That does not make a man less than a man because he's not in his own place, especially in this day and time. I want to throw that out there because I have too many women disqualifying men because he lived with his mama. So
he doesn't have a space for her.
Oh, so, is that it?
Yeah, there's no way for her to nest. That's what it is. Yeah.
Oh, she can't come up and spend the night.
Yeah. She can't go. She can't go take possession of another woman's home. So that's what it is.
Oh, well, Keith, you just put a new spin on it.
Oh yeah. I don't put it out there, but yeah. So what? Yes, ma'am.
That's truth to power right there. She can't take care of somebody else's stuff.
Yeah.
Well, here's what you have to think about. If that mother's taking care of that son, she's been talking to you, you dating her, Keith. She's telling you he's lazy, he just won't work, he won't clean up, he won't do nothing, just sitting up on that couch watching TV. In fact, he play games all day and say he can't find a job. Now, Keith, what are you gonna step into that marriage for? Tell me.
Nah, you shouldn't.
Huh?
I mean, the thing is her sex and what she's bringing worth stepping into that kind of landmine? If it is, okay, I can't speak for a man because that might be okay. So, but the thing is, know what you're stepping into, know what you're paying for. So as long as you are willing to pay that price and pay that price tag, I can't speak for you. But the thing is, I can tell you what I wouldn't do. But if you're willing to actually step into that landmine, that minefield, go ahead. Because it won't end well.
And most of the time, that stepson is not going to like you in the first place because he know that you're not going to put up with that stuff, and you're going to be telling his mama that boy needs to find a job. So he ain't going to like you, okay?
The thing is, why would you tell her that? That is her son. That's her relationship that's her contract. It's not your contract. If you're with her, and her son is sitting there playing video games, you walk right by him, say hello, and maybe play the game with him, and then get back up and go back up. And when she complains about it, I say, baby, that's your contract, okay? I didn't raise the child, you did, okay?
But she gonna want you to get in and straighten him out. Now, let me be the devil advocate. I see women doing this. Now, you done let this boy laid up for 40 years. Okay. And now you get a man in the house, even when he just shacking with you. You want him now to straighten him out.
You want him.
That boy gonna bust you right in your mouth.
You want him to bring discipline. Okay, that's fine. Okay, Okay. In fact, my friend Dr. Johnson, he talked about male emotional labor. What does that look like, right? You're providing male emotional labor because you're providing male discipline. Okay. That is not for free, sweetie. I don't do that. I'm not straightening out your kid for free. What is it I'm going to get in return for straightening out the mistake that you made?
A hit in the mouth. That's what you're going to get. Hit in your mouth.
Well, then you're taking all that abuse for nothing. If you want to do that and it's worth it to you, go ahead. Because that child is not your contract.
That's right. And he going to tell you quick. And women, please don't try to make that man that child's father.
Yeah.
Let it grow into, call him daddy. Ooh, that used to really burn me up when women try to make their kid call their boyfriend. That's their fifth boyfriend, because they change every month. Not every month, every 6 months, every year. Yeah. And then they want each one of them to feel like a father to that child. So they'll get so distant that they won't accept any of them because they remember, I'm not going to like him because in 6 months he'll be gone. Yeah. So they get why they can't bond to anybody.
Yeah.
Because everybody come in mama's life disappear. By the time I get to like them, they're gone.
And they're gonna have the same issues when they grow up because any kind of male figure is going to be temporary. They're going to see it that way. That's where they grew up, and the mother doesn't think that way. Okay, you know that's like most men. I'm not saying all. Most men are really careful about who they introduce to their children because they don't want their girlfriend interfere the relationship they have with their mother. No, you're not their mother. They have a mother. Okay. And until I'm sure about you, you cannot be a mother figure to my child. Okay. Because I had to be sure about you.
I believe that women are too quick to introduce their children. Men don't do it. They don't even introduce you to their mother quickly. Yeah, but the woman always the first thing she want to do, take him to see mom and introduce him to my kids. Keith, you're right about that. So folks, you need to listen. That's why it's good when you have the balance, the male and female talking. You get a chance to see how men feel. They don't think the way we do.
Well, women want to unload that burden onto somebody else. So that's what they're looking for. And when men have to be observant of that, she's trying to unload that burden because she can't handle it. You know, and a friend of mine said, he said, pressure is made for shoulders, not hips.
Wow. Wow. Tim just passed a note in here. He said, I agree 100%. That's why you need to bond with the woman first, then be friendly with the child.
No. The thing is, I tell men, okay, you can date a woman all you want, right? Okay. You can see her for years, right? You do not become a stepfather because a stepfather is the role of a father. Until you bond with that child. Do not step in that role as a stepfather unless you bond with that child, because at some point you're going to have to act as a father, and that's discipline, that's correction, and all that kind of stuff. If that child has not bonded with you and seeing you as a father or a father-like figure, then you do not need to step into that role. You're headed for disaster, okay? I will tell any man that. Do not marry a woman with children unless you have bonded with that children. You marry that woman because you love the children. Don't go the other way. Don't become a stepfather because you love that woman. You become a stepfather because you love those children. That's what I would tell them.
Folks, you guys need to listen to that.
The women have to go the same way though, because we're talking about the man coming in on the woman, but the woman sometimes come in on the man with their kids in that relationship as well. So it goes both ways, but I do definitely agree with what you're saying, Keith.
Okay.
And I think we need to slow down, women, introducing people to our kids too so quickly, because a lot of times those relationships don't last, and we try to push it as a woman, and we're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to wait, just like Keith is saying, and feel it out. Just like the man do, we got to do it too.
The thing is you got to understand. And I don't want to get too long-winded with this. So, Dr. Rosie, tell me if I'm getting too long-winded with this, right? Okay. Men bond to children differently than women. Women bond to their children through their bodies, okay? A man cannot give birth, okay? He cannot bond to his children through his biology. He has to do it socially. He has to bond with the children emotionally, right? So a man can bond to a child that's not his biological offspring, because he can't even bond to his own biological offspring the same way a woman does. A woman has a different bonding mechanism than men do. Okay,
I agree with that. That's true.
So it's easier for a man to become a stepfather, in my opinion, than a woman becoming a stepmother, because women bond to their children differently.
I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a call from area code 248, I believe. Caller, go ahead. Give us your name. Where you calling from?
248. Area code 248. Yes,
caller, go ahead.
Are you listening, or you want to make a comment?
I'm just listening.
Okay, can you put yourself on mute?
Okay. So bottom line, you guys, we were talking about those who are shacking, and we were talking about stepchildren. If you have not made your estate planning, living trust, will, power of attorney, give me a call. A name you can trust, a professional business management consultant service. And my name is Dr. Rosa Milligan. You can call me at 323-750-3592. 323-750-3592. When you leave home each day, you expect to return. But if not, is your business and personal affairs in order? Folks, get it in order. If there ever was a time that we as a group, as a race, needed each other, that time is now. It is today. So do not leave your family fighting and arguing in an uproar because you failed. You failed. Nobody failed you. The white man didn't do it. I have to put that out there because black folks, the devil did it or the white man. I want you to know that you did it to yourself. You did it to your child. You did it to your family. And you did it to the woman or the man that you're married to because they have the fallout with your kid because you failed to do what was right. So give me a call, 323-750-3592. My email is Dr. Rosie Diarra, no period, Diarra, Rosie @AOL.com. And this Wednesday coming up, I have a living trust, will, and power of attorney free Zoom seminar that gives you the information you need. Email me at drrosie@AOL.com. I will send you the link so you can get on that seminar. Keith, you were making another point. I hope and pray that, let me tell you, the show is going to re-air, you guys, for anybody who missed it. It's going to re-air at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You go to Yahoo, Inner Light Radio at yahoo.com. Inner Light, INNER, Inner Light Radio .com. And I'm just told to remind you all that you can listen to my shows, our previous show. You can go to YouTube, Dr. Rosie, YouTube, and you can listen to past shows, and you can listen to this show later because that one will go up too. Okay. Keith, you want to close us out? Do you think we got across how important it is for those who are shacking?
Yeah,
for all the shackerers and the shackeries?
Shackers. Marriage LLC for you shackers out there. The thing is that black people, and this is, I've read back in history, black people really don't take marriage seriously. It's more of a social thing. They do. White people and other people take marriage as a business, from a business standpoint, and black people don't do that. So they figure I can shack, and as long as we get along, we're fine, right? But the thing is, until you get sick, until there's paperwork that needs to be involved, until assets need to be split up, right? Guy, you can shack with that woman, you're having a good time for 20 years, and all of a sudden you come back, she's mad at you, the locks are changed. You have no rights, okay? Thing is, you have to, if you're not married, then you're not financially responsible for each other. So the thing is, you want to do that outside the contract of marriage, you got to drop another contract. Dr. Rosie is actually giving you another avenue to actually take care of business. If you're going to be there more than, I say more than a year, but I said I'll give you 3 years. You're going to be there more than 3 years. You need to take care of business.
Exactly. The caller that's holding, did you have a final word you want to give to us? And Keith, you know, back in the days when we came here as slaves, people wasn't no such thing as marriage. You just got with somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They didn't have no license for you. They didn't even consider you a real human being. So marriage meant nothing in the context. If you were married, anytime a white man could come to your house and go to bed with your wife and walk out on the porch and pat you on the head and tell you how he enjoyed your wife, and you could do nothing about it. And you read about all that in my book, Satisfying the Black Woman, Sexually Made Simple Black Man. Gives you historical perspective about sexuality, sensuality, and our life. You really need to read these books so you can understand what it is to know real about the black man and the black woman's socialization and adaptation to America, that will help you to understand why our lives are torn apart and kind of mixed up because they govern everything. I mean, your man did something to you, you went and told a white man, and he came and dealt with your husband. We got to understand how we got in this fix that we're in, and we're coming out of it because we're getting good information now. So go to the website, go to professionalpublishinghouse.com, go to drrosie.com, and you can see all of my books.
I'm telling you, you should marry. I write that book, Dr. Rosie, with Shawana, Marriage LLC.
I know. Do it, Dr. Rosie. Let's do it.
Okay, now something's on the board.
I can tell him my story. And you can tell him the rules.
Exactly. What's on the board, Keith?
Because you have to protect yourself at all times.
It says this is a question said, does Dr. Rosie teach others how to start power of trust businesses? In other words, she's from Louisiana. Can you train other people or actually teach people the game of how you do what you do? That's what she's trying to say.
Tell her to give me a call because they have those courses at most of the junior colleges. It's so much involved. So to try to teach somebody, it's the medical side. See, even before I got into this, I'm a registered nurse. I knew that health side. I had a real estate license. I understand all that. I had an insurance company. So my background with me learning and trained to do this makes it much easier. Tell that person, give me a call, and we'll talk about where they make him find a course, because I'm telling you, we need it all across this country. Every neighborhood needs somebody doing this kind of work, because we are in a pickle.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Barbara. I think you wanted to say something before we close. We appreciate you joining us.
No, I'm good, Dr. Rosie. I appreciate it. It was delightful today. See you tomorrow for our trust call at 7. It's very, very important. It's the last one for the month and for this whole quarter. So to have all your friends log on and see this important information from Dr. Rosie tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Thank you, Barbara. She's my assistant with helping me to get this information out. Shawana, did you have a last word? Did you want to say, if you shack, do like me, get it right? Come on, Shawana.
Get it right. Yeah. Yes, I say definitely take care of your business, because one thing's for sure, I saw it happen firsthand myself. I know that because I'm a businesswoman and I was buying properties and things like that, I wanted to protect my interest in the properties that I was finding and buying, and my ex was in the business too. We both were in the same business, and we never got married, but I felt that there needed to be some kind of security on what I had. So we did a corporation, and we made sure that everything was 50-50. We opened up bank accounts in our corporation name with our names 50-50. Everything was 50-50. That guarantees you that when you leave or when you guys break up, everything is still going to be 50-50, whether you break up or, when you break up, without having to deal with the cost. But yeah, I would say definitely protect yourself at all times, because if I didn't, oh my God, he would have just ran with it, because we never got married. And I'm telling you, because I was a strong businesswoman, he couldn't do it. There was a time when he said, hey, get out the house. I said, no, I'm not getting out. This is my house. And I'm still in that house. And he wanted the house, but because I was a businesswoman and I knew what I was doing, it didn't happen. So make sure you protect yourself at all times, because they will not protect you when they're finished with you. That's for sure.
Yeah. On our side,
like that.
Yes.
Maybe I need to do a book on how to protect yourself when you to all shackers out there.
I love that.
Yes, there's a lot of shackers out here, Dr. Rosie. They're not saying it, but there's a lot of shackers out here. Yes.
Well, Shaq, you better get that business in order. I'm telling you, be out in the cold. Can you imagine at 70 years old and your partner dying and leaving you out in the cold? You thinking, because a lot of people think, well, we've been together, so I helped pay for the house. The court don't care who helped pay for it. If you're shacking, you're not getting that house unless the person left it for you in a will or trust. So, folks, call all your friends out there. You know who they are. You know who's shacking, who's not. You know? In fact, I'm going to see if I can get the minister to announce it over the pulpit. All of you shackers.
Yes,
all you shackers out there.
All you shackers. Some on the usher
and if
board.
any of you got, and if any of you shackers want to sell a piece of property, call me.
Copyright that term, Dr. Rosie.
Which one?
Shackers. Yeah, copyright that term. Copyright that.
Right. You get up Sunday morning in church and say to all you shackers on the deacon board, raise your hand. If you're in the pulpit, raise your hand. If you're on the usher board, raise your hand. If you just a member in shacking, raise your hand. And then you take their name and have Dr. Milligan to tell them how to do it. Come on, somebody.
Dr. Rose, we just got you back in the church.
I know.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the church. The Bible says it's better to marry than to burn. People.
Well, sometimes you burn when you get married. That's when you really get burned up.
It really does say that.
I can't take y'all anywhere.
We got to get the right interpretation. But you know what? People really had started embracing me because before they put every church, they put me out. I couldn't go to this one. Now, because I don't know what she's going to say. She's so unorthodox. I had kind of mellowed down, and last time I went to church, people act all right. But God dog it, I done messed it up today. I guess I'm going to be out again. Well, okay, it's okay. I'll go to YouTube and Facebook. And television. They got plenty of ministry there. No, I do better. I started my own ministry right here on Inner Light Radio. I got a lot of members out there who want to be a part of my church, so I ain't worried about it. Anyway, you guys, to all you shackers, I'm going to say it again. All you shackers out there, get your house in order because you're going to be left out in the cold. All you stepchildren out there, you better start talking to your daddy, to your mama, to try to find out what do they have in store for you. Something or nothing. If it's nothing, it's okay. But you need to know. So at least come to the table and have that conversation. Your father or your mother may just haven't thought about it. They ain't so in love with their wife or the husband. They're thinking about living for the day. They're not focused on what's going to happen when I'm gone. So you all just need to start that conversation. That's all. And they'll decide, well, let me do this.
Oh, and don't be afraid to take, to take an L, okay? If they tell you that you're not in the will, at least you know. So because at the end of the day, it's really not yours, okay? You have to come in. It's not yours. If they decide to leave it to you and do the right thing, that's fine. The thing is, you have to know. You don't assume that it's yours because it's not. If you didn't work for it, you didn't earn it, it's not yours, okay? So the thing is that don't be afraid to get the answer back because you may not be in that will. You may not be in that trust, okay? And you have to be good with that.
And Keith, it's okay too, because think about it like this. Now, if you're married to this woman, you all been married for years or whatever. You want her to leave the house to you and to the wife. Now, you guys know that's not gonna work because if she leave it to you and the wife, you're gonna want her to sell so you can get your part out because she may live another 30 years. So that's why these things need to be talked about. So a lot of people say, well, I would give my wife and my husband a life estate. I mean, they can live in the house as long as they live, but upon their demise, then the house go to my children. Well, she or he may outlive most of the children. So folks, you guys really got to fix it. I mean, he's not going to leave. He should not leave his wife out in the cold just to leave you something. He should show you how to get your something while he or she is living. Let me repeat that. He needs to show you how to get your something while you are living versus having his wife put out in the cold so you can have part of dad or mama's house. Folks, now come on, think about it. Does that even make sense for you to think that you can move in on the wife or the husband who left and take half of the property? Come on. First place, let me say it like this. Put yourself in the shoes of that stepmother, father, would you want that to happen to you with someone to die and the kids have half of the house? You know, now they may decide, well, I own it. They may decide to move up in there with you. I don't know what you may decide. Or you may decide, I want her to sell it or pay me out, and she can't pay you out. Folks, what I'm really saying, estate planning is important. It can be a mess, a real mess, if it's not taken care of. So that's all I have to say today. And for all of you out there mad because I put you on front line because she's shacking. Well, she don't know why I'm shacking. I ain't had no other choice. He didn't want to marry me, but I need somebody to help me pay this note. Oh, no, you don't got all.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I said don't be mad. Don't be mad.
We don't. We're not judging. We're not judging you shackers out there, right?
No.
We love all you shackers out there.
Hey, Dr. Rosie, I said I was on the hot seat first, too.
Exactly.
Shawana, are you shacking?
Forgive me, Dr. Rosie, for I have shacked.
So you guys, all we're trying to do is we're just trying to enlighten you and let you know that you need to take care of your business, protect yourself. Protect your children that you have, okay? So, you guys, the clock on the wall said that's all. Remember, this show is going to re-air at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, InnerlightRadio.com. If you feel like listening to again because you don't think you got all you should have gotten the first go-round, join it tonight at 6 o'clock, okay? And call all those shackers you know and tell them to listen to this show. You guys have a great day.
They're going to be on Facebook. You trust and believe. Talk about the shackers. That doggone Dr. Rosie.
She's at it again, huh?
She's at it again.
You guys have a great day.